2020, August 14th, 6:29 a.m. New paragraph. (2020). Now let's explore the first 4, possibly 5 movies of Star Trek penned by Gene Roddenberry. At least the notes and such were penned by him, but it had to be put into place by others because he was dead by then, or at least dying and not a very healthy man. But he was also a grown pilot and adult in 1939, so there's some functionality there regarding being 1930 in 1939 being a grown man, and this is 1980, which is 50 years later. Period. New paragraph. So he penned the outlines for the movies, and the gospel being in the quantum field, being held in the, for lack of a better description, the gospel being held in the functionality structure of the Tower of Babel. Period. New paragraph. That the Tower of Babel holding or at least the Tower of Babel may be how the ancients, one way to access the quantum field, the quantum consciousness, would be through the Tower of Babel, which is a ziggurat, but it's more of it's a different type. You don't build a 10-mile tall skyscraper that doesn't access the quantum field. It just acts as a singularity point to which to measure to and from, and it becomes a center of the people around. And as it becomes a center of the people around, then it becomes a focal point, and that focal point is where you have some aspects of the erdology, which is a 000 measurement point from the where humanity interacts with and deals with. That focal point is a compass measurement point, which is where you can then start converting the numbers to letters and letters to words and so on. Period. New paragraph. A focal point, my spot, is the point. And the bigger the my spot is, the more influence, the global influence that spot has, the more of a measurement point that is, the more of a fixed point that is, the more that specific spot becomes an overriding compass, that those letters come first. Period. New paragraph. How much of this new paragraph. How much of this information is known, understood, can be contemplated, can be processed regarding how much Gene knew regarding the Synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, as in directly compared to the movie, the Star Trek the movie, the Wrath of Khan, the Search for Spock, and the Voyage Home. Period. New paragraph. As you see, new paragraph. Star Trek the movie, Star Trek the movie, Matthew. New paragraph. Star Trek The Search of Khan, Mark. New paragraph. The Apostle Mark, new paragraph. Star Trek: The Search for Spock, the Apostle Luke. Luke as in light, as in what Memphis was called before it was called Memphis. New paragraph. New paragraph. Star Trek: The Voyage Home, John. New paragraph. Obviously, these stories, what the movie, Khan, Spock, and The Voyage Home talk about is not what the primary gospels are about. This tells a different story. This tells a more complex, more complete, more defined and detailed narrative of the gospel, period, new paragraph. What, based off of translating the movie, assuming that Gene Roddenberry tapped into the quantum field, tapped into the Tower of Babel in some kind of a ethereal, creative memento mori, 1A assault, 1B intimacy, 1C the Heisenberg, which begins the loop, Ohm's law loop, begins the going there thing, the AC current, alternative current. One bit goes one direction and then the bit comes back. Well, that completes the circuit. And you then have two, which is the second part, which is the community involvement, usually a parade with the Romans, or there's other aspects in more modern cultures, the English, the British, the French, the Americans, who have that same thing, or at least similar thing, but it's only slightly different. Period. New paragraph. So you have the two, and then you have the genius. Then you have part three, and the genius is where the loop completes. It goes out with the 1C, but comes back with the 3 with the genius, and that's where genius, the creativity, the muse, the spark of inspiration, the eureka period. That's where those moments come from. Is when the circuit completes, the AC, the alternating current. Well, it goes out and then but it has to come back. So it goes out and then it comes back. Well, the coming back part is the genius. Is where whatever kind of mind you have the ability to have an inspirational, a eureka moment, a eureka thought. Well, that's during this. The assumption has been regarding this mathematics the whole time has been the fact that this gospel is in the genius, that Ohm's law. It's built into that, and on Ohm's law being built into that means that that gospel tells a different story, a more complete, a more defined, a more elaborate story, period, than what the other gospels can offer, because the other gospels have been altered and changed and edited, so badly that some of them don't even tell even close to what the original story was supposed to be, period. New paragraph. So the more you have alterations, the more the enemy likes it, Mark 13, but the more truth it doesn't have. Well, this is designed to be, minus poetic license, pretty close to dead on to from the source, and the source being the quantum field, at least in some ways, shapes, and forms of talking about it, asking about it, communicating about it, period. New paragraph.